Before we start, don't forget subscribing to the channel for the latest updates from one of India's most loved auto content outlets. All done? Let's get going.
Hi, this is Motoroids, and today what we're going to review is the new TVS XL 100. No, we're just kidding. That is where TVS started its journey, and this is what we're going to review today. It's called the Ntorq 125. It's a brand new scooter, which is not something which will tear the roads, and in TVS's words, this is more like a sporty scooter rather than being a sports scooter. So as you can see, as it looks in yellow, it looks pretty, it looks very sporty, it looks pretty sharp. And over here you have this tiny little LED which functions as an always on light, and there's a conventional bulb over there. There's a black applique over here on the apron, and the most interesting bit here is this rotopetal disc brake which comes as standard with the scooter, along with this fat rubber which is a TVS make, and you get front telescopic forks as well. Moving over to the sides, what you see over here is a snake fang shaped grey panel which mentions the cubic capacity of the engine. That's where the inspiration for this scooter comes from, and the way you look at things, I'm not sure if you can hear the click of this peg, but just look at it, or if you can just hear it, how well built it is. Speaks volumes about how well made the scooter is. A sporty element here is this red treatment for the engine, and the sound which comes out from this exhaust system is pretty sweet, has a lot of bass to it. Sounds unlike any other scooter except for one or two in the market right now. Now, for all those who have been hearing praises about what the scooter sounds like from us, we are going to give you a sample of what the exhaust note is like, so you can listen to it for yourself. And here it goes. So there you go. Sounds quite bassy. And what you also get with the scooter are these alloy wheels which have a rather pretty design, but they're hidden by this exhaust system here. You can see that more clearly at the front. Coming to the back, I'm just going to light this up for you. If you can see the tail light, that's how it glows. That's an LED unit. These two vents you see here, they're 4 units. They don't really do much, or do nothing at all rather, they're just there for design. Blinkers over here, that's where your license plate would be, and quite large rear fender, so if you are riding in the rain, shouldn't be a bother. Right, moving on to the other side. There is a footrest here if someone sits in an odd fashion, even now. That's a 3-valve motor right there, a first for a scooter, and there's a Kickstarter too. Look at how beautifully it just clicks, and this takes the cake. Now if you observe closely, there's some 4 carbon finish here, right on the seat over here, on this panel over here, and near these switches, which again operate with a very positive click, and everything about the scooter is very well put together. It's very solidly built and feels very robust, looks nice, looks very sharp, and I don't think there's any other scooter right now which would probably boast of a build quality like that. You have a parking brake on the scooter. That's quite a lot of these things which miss out on these days, so you can engage it like that. Yep, there it goes. And apart from that, that's how it looks. Now, if you talk about a performance motorcycle, they enchant you. If you talk about a scooter, well, they Ntorq you. And this is what the scooter is all about. You don't really have to expect a lot from this. even TVS tells us that. What you can expect though is a lot of punch in the lower range and in the mid range, and even when it tops out, there's no dearth of power. It goes fairly quick from 20 to 60. It can be at around 70-75 all day without any fuss, and it's after about 85 kilometers per hour or so when things start to slow down a little, not that it struggles or something. And according to this digital speedometer, the top speed we recorded was 96 kilometers per hour. The 0 to 60 time, this scooter was ridden by someone else, but we managed a 7.2 second time, which is not bad for a scooter. And about vibrations, since this is a torquey motor, one would expect that there might be some vibrations at the pegs or where you seat it, but nothing of that sort. Vibe-free performance throughout the range, and it picks up really quick from standstill, even in the mid-range. And unlike any scooter in the market right now, except for the Aprilia maybe. So that's about this scooter's performance. Handling wise, it handles really well, feels very balanced as an everyday commute maybe, and the suspension is set up slightly on the firmer side given the sporty intent of this scooter. And we did take it off the road on the test track here. There's a section where you can test the suspension. It feels slightly firm. The seat over here and this texture, it keeps you from sliding forward when you're braking really hard, and that's really vital. It doesn't really slope too much either towards the front, so that what happens in that case is, because in a motorcycle you have a fuel tank here, there's nothing to arrest your forward movement when you're braking. So when you brake, you aren't really sliding too much, and that's a good thing. It saves you from a few injuries in vital places, is what I can tell you. I have ridden a scooter quite extensively. I have been pretty comfortable, and that's a good thing. The textured footboard here is rubberized, and you can place your feet comfortably. There's no hump or anything, so if you want to carry something, you can do that too. There's a hook over here, so you can hang perhaps a bag, and this area is pretty wide too. So if you have knees, if you're a tall person and your legs are pretty long, so your knees won't foul with anything. And I know, for an instance, when I used to ride a scooter once, one of the very popular scooters rather, I could do this just to honk if I had to sometimes. No such thing on this though. Very comfortable, and lots of space to move around, and that is what I can tell you about the seating position. The handlebar is set at a height which is very comfortable. Even if you're short, shouldn't be a problem. And apart from that, these mirrors are pretty nice. They show you everything what's behind you. Since it is a scooter, it has to be functional too, so we are going to check out if it can swallow this full-size helmet. The seat opens through the keyhole here. If you turn it towards the left, that's how you open the fuel lid. You can just push it back there, turn it to the right, opens up the seat, and there's quite a lot of space in there. I'm gonna put this helmet inside, see if the seat turns. No, it's sporty, but it won't swallow your helmet, is what I can tell you. But then there's ample space here so that you can keep a lot of other things. There's a light which lets you see in the dark what's inside, and there's a charging point for your cell phone or perhaps iPad or anything else maybe, not your laptop though. For a scooter, this has pretty fat rubber. This is TVS Remora, the make of the tires. The front is a 100 by 80 section wrapped around these very nice looking 12-inch wheels, and at the rear too there is a 110 by 80 section, which again is a 12-inch wheel. There's no disc brake though at the rear. There's a drum setup, but braking is very efficient. It's pretty sharp once you bring in the front disc brakes or use both the brakes together, and the scooter stops well in time and stays pretty balanced too when you brake in panic situations, maybe if you have to do that sometime. For a 125cc scooter, this thing makes 9.4 PS of power and 10.5 Newton meters of torque, and that's pretty adequate for everything that you will need in the city for any zippy rides that you might have to undertake. Now, fuel efficiency, TVS has been pretty tight-lipped about how much the scooter can go for every liter of petrol. but we pushed them for a ballpark figure, and what they had to tell us was it can return about 40 to 45 kilometers per liter. Now if you look at this instrument console, there's reading for engine temperature, there's a fuel gauge, there's a 0 to 60 timer, there's average speed, there's a lap timer, which the funny thing about it is once you finish a lap around the track, it does not let you push a button or a switch or something so that you can start another lap. It keeps recording the time, and TVS tells us that once you are done with your track time, all you have to do is let the scooter come down below 2 kilometers per hour. You switch this key off, switch it back on again, and that is when the timer stops. So it's a scooter anyways, it does not require these things, but they're still there, and you can give it to TVS for the novelty that they're offering. This is the mode button here, which lets you select between street mode and sport mode. So sport mode tells you all this go fast information about your lap, how many kilometers you've done, your time, 0 to 60 and everything. You push this mode button again, and it tells you all your statistics, the top speed you've recorded. And once you come back to street mode, this is only need to know information. That's your speed that you're doing right there, that's the time, and that's the odometer. There's a trip meter too. And I'm going to show you something which is more like a party trick about this scooter. There is an app called Ntorq. I'm going to show you the ride that we had. It tells you about the max speed, the distance covered, traveling time, time you left the scooter in idle, and it also tells you about the remaining fuel level. Another fancy trick about this is if you leave the scooter in a parking lot, so you activate this, GPS has to be switched on, and it will tell you where you've left the scooter. It will your phone will pick up the GPS location and guide you through there. Also, if you navigate through this app, over here you will see directions, and which will guide you if you have to turn left, turn right, and if you overshoot your destination after 50 meters or so, it will tell you to return back or probably take a U-turn so that you can reach where you intended to. So that's about this display. There is an exhaustive video that will tell you more about this if you click on the link on the screen somewhere. There's an economy and power indicator, telltale lights for your indicators. There's a low fuel lamp, and this is the light for the high beam. So another thing what you have here is an engine kill switch. So TVS hasn't skimped on that. There's another switch here for the headlight, and this button here, all you have to do is push it once and the scooter starts. So that's pretty neat, very efficient. On the other side you have a switch for high low beam. There's a switch for making a passing maneuver too, this cancelling switch for the indicators, a horn button, and this looks like bar end, but this is just a fancy anodized coating for the grips. So if you ask us, in this segment for 58,000 rupees or around 60,000 rupees, this is the scooter to pick. It is well built. You really have to look at the build quality to believe us as what we're saying here right now. And for that price, I don't think there's anything else apart from the Honda Grazia which will come close, but that's more like a stylish scooter rather than something sporty. So for personal transportation, if you want something exciting, if your commutes are generally within the city, you want a two-wheeler which looks sharp, which looks sporty. And if you're young, someone, or probably just young at heart, this is a good scooter. This is a really nice scooter. So that's about it for the scooter. That's about it from us from here right now. If you have been watching our channel, if you've been following us, and if you've been enjoying all the videos, do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you did like this video, and thank you so much for watching Motoroids. Until next time then, we'll see you again. Goodbye.